welcome to Mrs. Cog Hill Farm. Today is going to be a very special day, hopefully. Tanya from Hidden Valley Farm, who is our beekeeper, she's here, she has her hives here, which she maintains here at Cog Hill Farm, and she's coming today to check on the hives. Her main concern is if they've made any honey, and she's hoping that there may be some queen cells in there that she can make some splits from. But all of this is up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. So come with me while I go check the hives. All right, Cog Hill Farm peeps, guess what?
We have capped honey.
This is amazing. I have Tanya from Hidden Valley Farms here inspecting the beehives. Didn't know what we were going to find today, but between March the 30th and the middle of April, we now have capped honey.
Yay!
This is awesome. You weren't expecting to see this, were you?
No, because they all looked so bad last time when we were here.
So I've been doing little pep talks. I've been coming over here and praying with these girls and letting them know how bad they need to produce this honey, and lo and behold, it's here.
And this frame is almost ready to even harvest because we want the frame to be pretty much 75 to 80% capped. So this frame meets our criteria, so we could actually harvest this frame for honey if we wanted to. But we're going to wait and give them a little bit longer. Let them do some more work.
Okay, so I'm thinking about my questions, and my first question is, seeing all this capped honey, does this mean we need to add an additional box?
We do.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm learning.
And it also means we can now stop feeding.
Stop feeding? Mm-hmm. Huh! Look here. They just so happen to have full jars that I filled up yesterday.
Yep.
So, but we stopped feeding this hive. Do we stop feeding all the hives?
Well, I'll write you a note on them when I'm through inspecting them all.
And tell me what ones so we can feed and which. Okay. So feeding frequently, you think has increased this, or just blooming plants?
The bloom, because the clover is in high production. Y'all's blackberries that y'all been showing on the video, they make a lot of honey off blackberry. And then our privet, which you've got a tree behind us that it looks like it's fixing to do a complete bloom. So
privet. Privet is a nuisance here in the south to most of us.
Highly invasive.
Highly invasive. If you do not get the stuff up by the roots, it's going to come right back. And sometimes even when you do get it up by the roots, it comes back. But it's beneficial for the bees, which I did not know that until today.
Yep.
So I guess it's probably a good thing that over here in this wooded area, I haven't done anything with the privet. I've let it just grow back up and do its thing, and the bees sure are appreciating it. So, wow.
Yay, good news.
Awesome. I'm so happy to see this. All right, so since there is capped honey in this top box of this hive, that does not mean that the second box has honey. It'll be a good thing if there is, but we won't know until she takes this top box off and actually gets in the bottom one. You can see it almost immediately. You want me to grab one side of it? Is there a lot of honey in there, Tanya?
So this box, each one of those frames will weigh between 5 to 7 pounds.
Wow.
And so 5 to 7, just say, let's say 5 pounds times 9 frames, that box weighs 45 pounds.
Wow. And if it's 7, then it's 63 pounds.
Correct.
All right, so I'm seeing capped honey. Are you?
Yep. So that's what all this is, where they just put surplus in between.
Look at that. I could just reach down there and just eat it.
Yep, you could. So put your finger on it and
I could, but I don't have a glove on this hand.
They ain't going to hurt you while you get that little bit.
You don't think? But then I got to take my veil off, so I'm going to leave this. Because I got to get it in my mouth. Wow, incredible work, girls. Y'all have done a phenomenal job. And you were saying after I cut the camera off, how they have to extract the liquid.
Yeah, so when honeybees bring in the nectar, it's very liquid. It's like sugar water. And they have to basically get all the water content out of it before they'll cap it. So they'll sit there and fan it until they dry out the nectar and it becomes honey. And then they'll cap it once the moisture content gets below about 17 to 18% water.
So that tells you how busy these girls have actually been. Now, what's going on with this little girl? Oh, that's a boy.
Yeah, that's a boy.
Okay. Boy, I'm learning. I am learning, and I'm feeling better about
We'll have
mine.
you your own hive here.
Oh goodness, I don't know about that. So do they start at the top typically when they start making the capped honey?
Bees work naturally from bottom to top.
Okay.
So they usually have their babies in the bottom and then put their honey at the top. But I don't run queen excluders, so my bees can go any direction they want. So wherever they have room is, they could lay babies in the bottom, or they could go all the way to the top and lay babies. It just depends on, what they need.
Do you have any idea as to why they would do that? Why they would lay their honey in the top versus the bottom?
I don't.
Okay. I wonder if it's a cleanliness factor. If they don't want to, I don't know. We'll let them discuss that between themselves and let us know when they figure it out.
I'll have to do some research on that one.
I see honey, but it's not capped.
Yeah, so
Some of it is.
So these have baby bees
Uh-huh.
in here. So if you were to look, you'll see that white larva that we talked about last time.
Okay.
And there's like little C-shaped larvae in there. And so the bees have babies here, and then they have honey, capped honey around the edges. Which they
Cool.
didn't even have this last time.
So not only are they producing honey, they're having babies.
Yep. So they need honey. In order to feed the babies, the bees need honey, and they need carbohydrates, which are the pollen. And so they mix the two together and they make what they call bee bread, and that's what they feed the babies.
Now, what is that little area right
Right there.
there?
So this area right here is nectar.
Okay. That's why it looks a little bit different?
It's shiny.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have nectar all the way from here to there, and babies from here to there.
But they wouldn't be eating their honey necessarily this time of the year, right?
Well, they do to raise the babies.
Okay.
They feed it to the
And that's
babies.
why they put it around the babies.
Correct.
Okay. I'm catching on.
Yeah. And
So that means that this lower box, will we check it for capped honey as well?
I don't think they'll have any down there, but we
Okay.
can check it.
Oh, what is that? Dirt divers?
Yep. Those are your
Okay.
future queen cells,
We talked about this on the last video. If
and you have a queen in here. So
have a queen.
so if you look in this one right here,
Oh my gracious.
can you
Look.
see the white larva?
Well, I don't know if it's focusing, but I'm trying. I can see it, but
Okay.
I don't know if the camera
So
can see it.
so once they lay an egg in there, and then the egg stays an egg for so many days, then it becomes larva, and then it'll stay that way for so many days, and then it'll become a pupa, and then it'll stay that way so many days, then they'll cap it, and then your queen will hatch from here in approximately 24 to 28 days.
Okay, Tanya, does this mean we're making splits today?
It means we could. Mhm.
We could make a split.
Yep.
And you will take that cell.
Yep, so I'll take
And
the
make
whole
a new
frame.
hive.
So I'll take the whole frame out and put it over here to the side.
And that'll in turn go in a new box.
Correct. Which we call a nuke,
A nuke.
or I call a nuke. So.
Well, I call them nooks. So they're a nook or a nuke. Depending on if you're an experienced beekeeper, it's a nuke. What is that?
So these,
Little white thing.
yeah, so these are larvae, so that were capped,
Uh-huh.
and then when I broke the frames apart, I broke the capping off of it,
But that was going to be queens?
or boys. So
Oh.
if you remember last time I
Oh.
talked about that when they look like bullets,
Uh-huh.
they're boy bees, and so the girls, in order to lay boy bees, they need a little bit bigger cell.
Okay.
Now this will be an interesting fact for your viewers. This one has a brown Varroa mite on it,
Oh, cool.
right there.
The bad thing about using a phone is it doesn't want to focus.
So this is a bad sign for these bees because they have 2 Varroa mites on that one bee. Do you see those little brown?
Uh-huh, I do. I see them crawling.
Yeah.
So what will you do?
You can treat the hive for Varroa mites.
So you'll come back and do that?
So on this one, I'll write that it had Varroa mites in the drone brood. So.
Is that the only place you'll see the Varroa mites?
No, you can actually look on the bees themselves and see it.
But it's a little bit harder.
It's a little bit harder. So Varroa mites actually lay their eggs at the same time that the bees lay the eggs, and they grow with the larvae. They eat off the larvae, basically.
And then in turn, they become adults, and then they lay more eggs, and your hive becomes infested.
Correct.
So how do you treat the Varroa mite?
Well, there's chemical treatments you can use, and some beekeepers do what I'm fixing to do by making splits, and basically the bees, you break the brood cycle, and there's no way for the Varroa mite to continue to breed and grow, and so that can kind of
Limit your Varroa mite activity
naturally.
Huh, okay.
So, but those are just things that you have to
watch for.
Yep, watch for.
And that's why you check your hives.
Yep. And
Because if you did not check this hive and you continue to let it go, it could become infested with Varroa mites, which would in turn kill the hive, right?
well, the Varroa mites won't actually kill the bees. What they do is they give them viruses to kill the bees.
Okay.
So the Varroa mite carries a lot
Makes
of
them sick.
Yeah, carries a lot of disease.
And you don't want that. And on each one of these frames, they're not going to be solid because there's still some baby cells in there, right?
Correct. And
They're
so-
not going to build it solid.
So this one has got nectar all the way at the bottom and capped honey at the top.
So that means that they're doing their job.
Yep.
Cog Hill honey in production.
That's right. Maybe we'll have more than 50 pounds this year.
That's right. What's that?
Well, I was looking because this looks like a queen cell to me.
And they could build more than one queen cell in one hive?
Yes.
How many have you ever found the most?
You can find 10 to 20 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's a chance in the right setting you could make 20 additional new hives out of one hive.
Well, you know, all you need is a queen cell in order to make a new hive, but you also need bees to care for it. So my rule is I usually try to put at least one capped queen cell in with 4 to 5 frames.
I gotcha. 4 to 5 existing frames.
Yes.
Okay. To make a healthy hive.
Yeah, to make it work, because especially since we're going to get like some low temperatures this weekend,
Mm-hmm. They need it.
they need the heat in order to keep them alive. So you do it like that. As you get you an empty nuke box, this is exactly half the size of a full hive. So it will hold 5 frames. And you want to take your frames that had your queen cells on them, which are these. And you put them in the box. This one had a queen cell there. And it had a bunch of queen cells over there.
Now, would you potentially take queen cells out of another hive and put it in that nook, or would you make a new hive?
I try to make them with the bees from the same hive.
Okay,
So they're like all friends already.
that makes sense.
So, and then I like to also grab an additional frame that has a lot of capped workers, which are future girls, because they're going to hatch in the next few days. And so I want the hive to have a lot of resources.
And you want them to be in this world ready and willing to go out and provide the necessary nectar and pollen for this hive.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's not going to succeed.
So this one's got a bunch of capped girls.
Okay.
And if you remember, that's the flat and matte looking ones. It's also got a few boys, because those are the ones that look like bullets. So this is a good frame to use.
Now, my question is, since those 2 frames had queen cells,
Yep.
will you in turn open that nook up, or nuke, to see if there is potentially more than one queen?
So whoever hatches first, her job is to go and kill all the others.
So there's no chance for you to open that box up because she's going to take care of it.
I don't. I'm not
There's
saying you
one
wouldn't.
queen.
Yeah.
There's one queen per hive.
Yeah, that will make it.
The rest of those girls don't have a chance.
And you have to give them a frame of honey so they'll have, you know, food per se.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go back and we'll find a frame that had honey.
That's a good one. I can see it.
Yeah, but I think there's even a better one in the
I
top.
gotcha. And that's why you're the beekeeper and I'm the camera keeper.
It's like I told you, I mean, You can feed them sugar water and that'll work, but
It's supplemental.
it's supplemental. And it's
Can
kinda
only
like,
do so much.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Snickers bar, you know.
Yeah, gives you a little energy for a limited time.
Yeah, so I try to give them the good stuff.
So you're taking the frames from this that had honey and putting them in the second box.
I'm just filling the holes.
Yes, so you can fill the area.
gaps, yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to leave it empty. You'd have boys everywhere.
Correct.
Those boys need the space.
And if I was to leave this space here and not put frames, the bees will build natural comb and you'll have a hot mess.
You would never be able to extract it, would you?
No. Well, you could, but you'd have to squish the comb in order to get the honey out.
And Tanya was saying earlier that she was so happy that we're building the barn because that means honey can be extracted here at this farm versus her taking the hives to an enclosed area where she can do it.
Yes.
So it looks like we're definitely going to be extracting some
That's
honey.
the one I'm going to give them.
That's a good one. And look, I thought that other one was good. Wow, I mean, you can see it just dripping down in the bottom here. I've got a shadow, but you can see the honey dripping off the frames down into the bottom. Look at that yumminess. Will they eat that?
Yep.
They're not going to let it go to waste, are
Nope.
they? Bees seem to be very clean animals. Insects.
And they waste nothing.
Waste nothing. We all could learn from bees.
So we build our own nuke boxes, and you put the sugar water here to feed them.
Okay, so you do feed a
Until they
nuke.
get established.
Okay. So should I take this jar out and put it on that one when we get it set?
Yeah, eventually when we get it set.
Okay. And we didn't know going into today if there was going to be anything that needed to be done.
Great.
Good news all the way around so far.
So I did not bring this size frame.
Okay.
So I can have a couple of choices. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it out for now and see if any of the other bees need some honey.
Okay.
And then maybe we can donate to them.
I gotcha.
So
So you'll put this box back on top for now and...
I will not.
Oh, you won't?
No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake the bees off. Back into the original hive and save these frames over to the side.
Okay. So next time you'll bring a box full of empty frames for them to start their honey again.
Correct, because again, if I told you, if I was to stick this back on and not put the correct amount of frames in here, they're going to draw out natural comb.
And it's going to be a mess.
And it's going to be a mess.
So you're preventing mess.
Yes. As long as you get most of the bees off, you can donate this honey to a hive that doesn't have any.
So what causes bees to swarm when they already have the queen cell there? Does the queen have to hatch in order for that to happen?
No. So the queen, normally once the queen cell has already been capped, the original queen and half the workforce has already left. So I'm hoping since these aren't capped yet,
Then you caught them in time?
Yeah, maybe I've timed it good to where they're like, oh, well, we don't have a new queen coming, so let's just stay here and make honey.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm hoping. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. These little black bugs.
So it's time for a new Swiffer because that one's seen its better day. And I read some comments where people were saying that they thought you could use a type of fabric that they see at the fabric store to catch those Varroa mites instead of the chemically induced Swiffer.
Well, this has no scent on it, so it doesn't have any chemicals added to it for scent. That's why I use the unscented ones.
And I did read that, and that's why you use them.
Yep.
So you were just saying the hardest part of beekeeping, in your opinion, is keeping the smoker lit.
Yeah.
Which can be, on some days, a difficult task. So you want them to go down before you put their lid on.
Yeah.
So you don't squish any bees.
Correct.
So this is a deep,
It's bigger.
and it already has drone comb on it from a previous hive, correct?
Yes, from last year.
From last year. So you're going to in turn put that on the top so more honey can be made in this box.
Yeah, so this box, these will weigh 7 to 10 pounds each.
Wow.
So
And
this,
how many frames are there?
I do 9,
9.
and so this has the potential to weigh 90 pounds when it's full of honey.
Wow. And you picked that up by yourself?
I do.
Well, I tell you, I'd have more aches and pains after doing that than...
But we want to make sure they have room or else they'll swarm. So it's like a fine line.
Now, why did you put the dryer sheet in the lower one rather than this one?
Just because that was where the babies were.
Okay.
And that's usually where your hive beetles are.
So when you open this one up next time, if there's babies in here, you might...
I might
put
leave it up.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so hive number 1 complete with good success.
Yep. And a split made.
And a split made. You can't ask for better than that.
So we're going to write on here today's date.
We need to write a smiley face. So we're on to the second hive, and we hope for as good of results as we had on the last one. You knew immediately on the last one. I think I know immediately on this one.
Yep. Doesn't look as good, does it?
Nope. Not been as much production going on, but I will tell you I smell honey.
Yep. So this one's got nectar. So it's got nectar from here all the way around.
Which is an improvement.
Yep. And it's got babies in the empty spaces, which is good. So that means the queen is laying.
But there's still, we don't see any capped honey.
Yep. Those are all boy bees.
And in more times than none, if the hive isn't thriving and very, very healthy, you're not going to see those queen cells starting to develop.
Correct.
Like you would on a healthy hive.
And like I told you, some queens are late starters, which means they'll get going a little later than others. Because I run mutt bees, for lack of a better word. I don't have a certain lineage or all Italians or all Caucasians or all Russians. I get a lot of my bees from feral hives, so they're just a mutt, a super mutt.
Yeah,
but in
super mutt.
bees.
Like bandit.
Yeah, like bandit. So this queen has just kind of started kicking off. So by this time we inspect, 10 to 14 days more, she may be doing really, really good.
She's got the necessary ingredients. She's just got to make it all come together.
Yeah. Her and her staff. So yeah, she's laying very good. So she's just missing.
So she's healthy.
She's healthy.
But you can't really determine that until you start seeing activity, right?
Correct. So see all that's nectar, it's all shiny.
Uh-huh. So you're going to close this one back up?
I'm gonna look one more box.
Okay.
This hive also is not as big as this one, so this one is only 2 boxes. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes now.
And these bees are not as active, and that's simply because you just opened the hive, right?
Yes. Whereas the other one, we ran it for quite some time. Right there.
Lots of bees.
Lots of babies.
But no capped honey.
But no capped honey. Lots of babies.
Yeah, lots and lots.
Lots of babies. So she's laying very, very good.
Wow.
That hive
Uh-huh.
to here.
The honey from the other hive is going to go in this box to try to give them a little jump start.
So Tanya has opened up the third hive and found really, really good results. She's gonna need to add a deep box, which means need more space for the bees to make more honey. So she's gonna do that, but the top box was slap full of honey. And the second box is very, very full as well. When she put that top on the ground, it's supposed to weigh about 65 pounds when it's full of honey, but I'm thinking by the look on her face, it was more like 85 pounds. So good results. 2 out of 3 so far have been good.
So this is hive number 4. Halfway to the check. And I'm seeing capped honey. How about you?
Yep.
Well, just from the box being open.
Yep. A bunch of bees on the ground.
And you found out that you've got a good problem to have today.
Yeah, I'm gonna run out of boxes.
Running out of boxes, and that means that she was not prepared to see all that has happened at Cog Hill Farm with the bees. She didn't bring enough boxes.
And that queen is laying good.
But when I get this barn completed, we're going to have plenty of places for you to store some boxes so you don't have to go all the way home to get more.
Yep, that's a good problem now.
That is the beautiful frame. Look at that goodness. Is it heavy?
It is heavy.
So we were just discussing.
Look at that. That's all honey.
That's amazing. We were just discussing a company that's in Birmingham called Foxhound Bee Company.
They're who my
Foxhound Bee Company.
that's who my liquid is.
And they have scales underneath their hives that show you how much weight the hive has increased as the honey production increased. So Tanya's going to check into that and see what kind of scales they use. And I probably won't do one on every hive, but
it'd be interesting to put them on just one.
yeah, on one hive we can put a scale under it and this season see how much increase in weight the hive has by just checking the weight on the outside.
Yep, because Fox Beehound, they post a link and you can watch it. You can go to it every day and see.
That's pretty cool.
There's your cap queen cells.
Wow, cap queen cells. So you're gonna make another
Split.
nuke.
Mhm.
Another split.
Yep.
Here I am saying nuke now. I said nook earlier, but I'm trying to become a beekeeper.
We're gonna make one out of you yet.
So how many nuke boxes did you bring?
Let's see. I think I brought 4.
So you got enough to
Yeah.
make a couple more splits. All right, so we're going to repeat the same process with a new nuke box that she's going to in turn set this frame that has the queen cells on it
In the box.
in the box. And all beekeepers, I assume, do this differently, but this is your method.
This is my bed.
So you're trying to find a frame that's got some honey on it?
Mm-hmm. So they need some resources and they need some bees.
If they got those things, then there shouldn't be any reason why they shouldn't thrive and
Hopefully make it.
become a new hive. What do you call, I mean, I know you call it a nuke, but is there a term other than nuke for a hive that's in the works?
Well, they just call it like a nucleus hive.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not called a nucleus, so that tells you it's not a nuc.
We'll see what our wordsmith Jason calls
Oh
it.
goodness, we don't want to know about that. All right, I see queen cells. Is that what that is?
Yep, there's some more.
So, will you put that frame in there?
Yep.
Okay, so that fills up that box.
Yep.
Even if you find more, you're done with that box.
Right.
Now, if you do find more, you just leave them.
You can choose to leave them and let them just, naturally, do what they're going to do.
Or you could start a new box.
Or you can start another box.
And what would you do?
It just depends on what I think they, look
Need.
like, yeah,
Okay.
or how many bees there are, because you don't want to take too many of their resources.
Look at that cap. Honey! Amazing. Amazing.
Especially considering they had none last
They
time.
had 0.
0.
And that's what I just said. I'm just amazed at how fast these girls have worked to get to this point.
And imagine when all your bee garden gets going. And
Oh man. Once our vegetables get up and going, the flowers get going, the bee flowers that we planted over here.
maybe this is from your fruit orchard.
Yeah, let's say this. Kudos to Fruit Orchard. That one heavy?
It's pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy and it's missing frames. All right, so I don't see capped honey sticking out of the top. That doesn't mean anything though, does it?
Well, I would expect this to be their nursery to have all their babies in it.
Mm-hmm.
To see how they're building out, see how this one got squished, and see how they're filling in the gap.
That's a good sign.
Well, I'm just saying that's what they would do if you didn't put a box in.
Oh, okay.
Didn't put a frame in.
So out of the 3 hives that you've checked, would you give all 3 of them an A+ or just 2?
Nope, I'd give them all an A+.
All an A+. Keep on, girl.
We only had one that didn't have a whole lot of honey, but we also saw that she just got started laying good, so.
And then this one's the 4th one, and it's an A+. So far, we got a score of 100.
Yep. Y'all might have honey to sell at y'all's YouTube event in September.
That's right. Wouldn't that be awesome? Look at all that that's hanging off.
So this is a medium frame
Uh-huh.
that I stuck in a deep box, and so this is all natural comb that the bees
Oh, wow.
filled in.
Cool.
But it's empty.
There's another queen cell in the same number 4 hive. Look at, is that water dripping or is it nectar?
That's nectar.
Okay, nectar's just dripping on the ground.
Yep.
Look at it.
Yep. That's how watery it is when it comes in. That's why the bees have to work. So
They fan that
Yep.
to make it turn into honey, correct?
Yep. Mhm.
That, I mean, y'all, if you don't feel that you're on this earth to make these bees survive and do what it takes to, in turn, make them live and be happy, I just don't know. This is living proof right here.
Trying to fill in any empty space.
So I just looked at the top that Tony's got sitting here on the ground, and I asked her what all that stuff is, because it looks kind of like spider webs.
It's
But
wax.
if you look real close, you can see it's wax. And she said what they're doing is they're running out of space in this box, so they're in turn using the lid to try to build comb, right?
Yep, to fill in the space.
To fill in the space so they can have more room. So you're filling in the frames that you took to make that nuke.
Yep.
With new frames that, well, some of them have foundation already on them and some of them have comb, but you're putting a little sugar water on it.
Yep.
And that just entices them to start building on that.
Yep.
All right. Cool beans.
So maybe we'll mark this one with your name. You can have a before and after.
You think this is the one we should put the scale on so far?
Whichever one you want to.
No, I want you to
I'm gonna
decide.
put,
You're the check that frame. Maybe just a check mark. Yeah, there we go, X. We want to see how much comb they build between now
and the next time.
and the next time you check. And how often do you check this time of year, or try to
every
check?
10 to 14 days.
All right. When you told me that you were checking them and possibly making splits, I thought, you just checked them. But
Well, now you know
you
why.
have to stay on top of it.
Yep. You saw how fast they built out.
I do.
So they got room. You could have put it. I could put another box on here, but they've got 5 empty frames, so that'll give them some room.
Yeah, they need something to work on until you can bring another box anyway. All right, so we're gonna cover this one up and on to the next one.
Yep, number 5.
So we're opening up hive number 5. What will we find here?
Come on, white.
I want to see some white. As soon as you open it, you want to see white, and I don't see white. Oh, I do. Just had to look a little deeper.
Yeah, it's not
Look
as
at
not as
much, but it's there. It's peeking its head out. And we also want to see some queen cells so we can make you another split. We want all the bees in this world we can get. That is shiny, but it's not capped. Lots of nectar.
Lots of nectar. Had a little bit of capped on this side, but not much. Right there in the corner.
Yeah, I see it. It's funny how one side can be so different than the other side.
Well, when we get ready to extract, you'll notice that you'll see one side be perfectly capped and the other side will not be. So I personally will not take that frame if both sides are not ready to be harvested.
Gotcha. So you take the whole box with the frames in it.
Yep.
And then once you get to where you're going, if that frame doesn't need to be extracted, then you just leave it alone. Okay, that makes
Bring
sense.
it back and put it back and let the girls fill it again.
All right, so I did not realize how close we are to honey extraction date. You extract your first honey on Memorial Day. And y'all, if y'all don't realize when Memorial Day is, that's the end of May.
Yep.
And so we're literally, what, 5 weeks away
Yep.
from harvesting honey? And of course, I'm going to take you guys along with us because it's going to be interesting. Look at there. And she's using regular frames in a deep box, so therefore they have made their own bit of comb to fill in the space.
Yep.
I guess as a beekeeper, you realize what works over time, and
Well, sometimes I'll get out here and I won't have the right frame that
Yeah.
I need. And you just have to make do with what you got.
so far, what do you give this hive?
I'm going to give them a B.
A B. That's okay. They've got some improvement to do. So far, I'm only feeding one hive. Is that right?
So far.
These girls are getting a little angry, aren't we?
Yeah.
And the next one is my favorite hive, the pink box. That's the one that.
Come around and get some.
Okay.
More smoke.
The pink box is the one that got after me. And you can see that Tanya used the old comb and kind of filled in that gap there where the boxes go together. So they couldn't escape out that backside the way they did that day. But I don't feed without a veil now.
Neither does Zoe.
Neither does Zoe at Chestnut Hills Farmstead. All right, girls. Let's see what y'all got going on in this pink hive. Well, y'all are not doing good.
I got some honey, but not.
Not in excess. I see a little white sticking
Yeah,
up. I
white.
can't be ugly to them too bad. And then if I turn on this side, I really see the white stuff.
Yeah.
See, on this side, you don't see hardly anything. That's crazy. But if I come on your side, it's honey. Well, not really.
Not on that one.
Not on that one. It looks like the next one does.
Yeah.
Was there nectar on that one?
A little bit. So that's all babies in the middle, capped honey in the corners.
Which is what you want to see.
Mm-hmm. And then you got the queen cell starting.
Uh-oh. I see it now. I didn't see it to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there she is, hanging out.
And it's got white in it, so that means it's a future queen.
So you thinking you're going to make another nuke? Got a lot of boys, right?
Yep.
Those raised up bullet looking cells.
And they make the boys right before they get ready to swarm.
Really?
Yeah, so that their new queen will have someone to mate with.
So you may have caught this one just in time?
May have.
Let's hope so. It's essential to check them, isn't it?
Yeah, every 10 to 14 days in spring, if you want to prevent a swarm. Some people just let them do what they're going to do. You know?
Just have them to keep them to have help the bee population,
Yeah.
which that's fine
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do. But you may, in turn, find that you have an unhealthy hive.
And a lot of times I'll use these nukes that I'm making if something should happen to the queen. In this hive, I could use that nuke and requeen her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, just to save it.
Just to have a backup.
Have a backup.
So you wouldn't lose this entire hive.
Correct.
But you got to be experienced to be able to know how to do that, I think.
Yeah, but they have classes for it. Lots of YouTube videos on it.
I told Tanya that you guys think that she's an excellent teacher, which I do too. And she is really good at beekeeping. A lot of bees. Lots of bees.
So it takes a lot of bees. I don't know the exact number, but I want to say each bee only makes like 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in her entire lifetime.
Wow.
So it takes a lot of bees.
That tells you how many bees it does take to
Make a jar of honey.
make a tablespoon even. And I'm seeing something sticking up right here. That's not a queen cell though, is it?
No.
Okay.
But this one has one.
Does it?
Yeah.
Where's it?
Right here in the middle.
All right, look at there.
So sometimes when they make them in the middle, it means they don't like their queen and they're trying to supersede her. They're basically trying to get rid of her because she's not doing a good job in their opinion. So they'll start trying to raise her replacement.
And does that mean that you'll leave this frame in there
I
for
might,
them?
yeah, because that's why I pulled out that other frame to kind of look and see, you know, what they were doing.
Well, it does seem like all the ones that we have looked at that have had queen cells have been on the edges.
Yep.
And that one is different.
This one,
I don't remember where it was, do you?
that's what I was looking at. Let's see here. It's this frame.
I thought you left it out though.
I did. It's this
Oh,
one.
okay.
So this one's on the bottom.
Yep, and that's where they mostly all are.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's in the center,
That's usually a supersedure cell. And if it's
supersedure.
supersedure.
I want Jason to say that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they're going to basically take her out and put
A new queen in.
queen in her place.
Could it be that she's sick or she's just
They just may not think she's doing a good enough job.
and they voted her out?
They're voting her out.
Huh. Oh my gracious, this is so amazing.
Maybe that's why they were so mean to you that day.
Maybe they were mad at the queen and they took it out on the brook. You're still not seeing much capped honey, are you?
Mm-mm. And so that may be another reason why they want to get rid of her.
If she's not doing her job, then maybe she needs to be overthrown. And will the bees in this hive in turn kill her?
They will.
I don't think we want to know how.
Well, they actually ball her. They'll cover her up and heat her to death, basically, or they'll kick her out.
Really?
Yeah.
So if they kick her out, would she survive?
Not unless someone else adopts her.
That's not likely.
Yeah.
Your days are limited, Queen.
So we'll look one more, and I may let this one naturally requeen itself, since they kind of.
They decided that they didn't like their old queen.
Yeah. So it may be in my best interest to let them.
Let them decide.
Yeah, let them decide.
They've done all that work. They got a plan. Is that one heavy?
No,
Light.
it's all babies,
I bet that's got a lot to do with the reason they want a new queen.
and it might be.
Well, she's laying eggs.
Yeah, she's laying eggs. But she's laying real. Most of the other patterns you saw,
Or consistent.
Where they were consistent. They went from capped brood from top to bottom, and this
that's
one's
sporadic.
real, yes,
Yeah.
sporadic and spotty. So that may be why they're, trying to requeen her.
All right, so plan is to put that frame back in, leave that frame in there,
Yep.
and make another nook.
Well, I'm actually going to let this one do its own thing.
Oh, okay, you're not going to make another nook.
Nope.
Okay. You're going to let it decide which queen it wants.
Yep.
It doesn't like that queen it's got surrounded, it has another one to choose from.
That's right. Or it might wind up swarming and landing in your box.
I've been checking that box, so far nothing. We're going to put this one back together and go to 7. So on to number 7, and initially we see honey. Although that frame doesn't look real.
Yeah, this is a brand new frame. So.
Oh, okay. So you put that in March, you think?
Yeah, March 30th.
Okay. But in March there was no honey.
So they're building this one out, so that's all brand
See
new
that
wax.
shiny stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Look at there. That is the beginning of the wax being formed?
Yep.
Huh.
So this
Interesting.
one used to look like that one.
Okay. And the
Oh,
next
I
one.
remember you posted something on your video about people want to know how much usage the Harvest Right freeze dryer.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all on the Central Access Co-op?
Yes.
Okay, you can get daily alerts. of how
Okay,
much you
good,
use.
good. That's what I'll do then.
Yep.
I knew you could without my power, but
Yep.
I knew you could with
You
this
get an email.
one. Okay, good deal. So this one is stuck together. That's an indication there's a lot of honey in it. Or at least some honey. Woo! Goodness gracious. Is it heavy?
It's not heavy, but see all that wax that was up above?
Uh-huh, it's just caked on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're brilliant around the edges, aren't they? You see any queen cells?
Not on this one. Those were baby boys at the bottom.
Still, that moves that one up from a negative to a plus, right?
We're slowly moving up to the A scale.
All right, so we're in the last hive. I'm not seeing any honey, but I see some nectar, and I see lots of babies.
And they've got some honey.
Some honey.
Some.
Not what you would want, though, right?
Not compared to the other girls. At least they got some.
Yeah, I see a little bit sticking out of the top of this one. Maybe it's going to get better. Lots of eggs. Boy eggs.
And they've got some queen cells.
So does that mean they may want to swarm if those boy cells are all up there?
Well, they've got queen cells too, but they don't
Oh,
have...
look at that one.
Yeah, but they don't have anything in them.
I think I'm going to have to go with your analogy and start calling them peanuts instead of... That one looked just like a peanut.
Yeah, instead of a dirt dauber.
Instead of a dirt dauber. A lot of y'all probably don't even know what a dirt dauber is, especially depending on where you live.
So this one has some honey on this side.
See, it's capped. And what is that that's white but it's not covered?
That's the boy larva.
The boy larva that's not covered yet.
Yep.
Okay.
Because as I was telling you, so many days they stay in eggs, so many days they become a larva, so many days they become a pupa, and then they get capped.
So far, how do you feel about this one?
We're going to give them a B just from the very initial.
And that's 2 with the B, right? Isn't that right?
Say it again.
2 of them have a B and
Yeah,
6 of them have an A?
Mm-hmm. And one of them had an A plus.
We got to move those A's up to pluses and the B's up to A's. Okay, so I see a queen cell.
But it's empty.
It's empty.
So sometimes they'll make what I call pretend queen cells to get ready to potentially swarm. So they might be thinking,
There's 2 of them, isn't it?
there's 3.
Oh, 3.
So
I
there's
see
one
it.
here,
I see it.
one
at
there.
the bottom.
And one there.
And one at the bottom. Okay.
So you can't, I mean, you could try to make a split without a queen cell. And it's just that I've had better luck. And here's one in the middle.
So that may mean that they're wanting to re-queen this hive?
But it's empty.
Okay, that's
So,
a good sign.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
So maybe she is doing her job.
Yeah, there's all baby. These are all, you can't, the viewers can't see it, but there's all babies in here. You can look at it with your naked eye and see it's all larvae and eggs. There's eggs over here, little white rice grains. So she's laying real good. Especially we got 2 nukes.
All right, so we're at hive number 8 and it is complete. Gotta be, but hey, that's okay. It's an improvement from last time.
Yeah.
Any improvement is good.
So I would not feed any of them from here on out. Let them
Okay.
finish up what sugar water they got.
And run those bottles to the dishwasher and save them up for next year.
See what they look like.
All right, so I want you to try to find out where I can get a scale.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be interesting to
Yeah.
see how the hive increases in weight.
Yeah, we'll call
Over
Fox
time.
Beehive because I'm sure he sells them.
Okay, good deal. Well, I'll buy them from them if
Okay.
you'll find out where to get it.
Okay.
And then you got 2 nooks that
Yep.
you're going to take, or nukes, that you're going to take elsewhere.
Yep.
You explained earlier off camera to me that there is a chance that these bees could try to go back to their original hive,
Or these bees could rob these out.
or these bees could in turn rob these bees out, like Tanya said. So these are going to go elsewhere, but hey, that's just decrease in bee population, which is what we are after.
And maybe to another future YouTube channel.
That's right. You never know, right?
Woo! We had a workout today. At least I don't have to walk back though. All right, so I guess y'all noticed I didn't have to walk back. I am on a new electric bicycle, and I can't tell you how long I've been waiting for one of these. This one is by Rusher, and it's a model called an Ovia. I've been needing this for a long time. It will get me a lot of extra exercise on the farm. It will go up to 28 miles an hour. That's almost faster than my tractor. It may be faster than my tractor. So I may let that orange girl park for a while, because with the weather the way it is, so nice outside, who doesn't need a little bit of extra exercise, right? The good thing about this bicycle is, as I mentioned before, it is electric and it has a pedal assist. So you can actually choose to just give it gas and let the bicycle do the work for you, or you can pedal and allow the bicycle to help you. It's your choice. It has a speedometer on it, so I can see when I reach 28 miles an hour. And it also will go 52 miles on one charge. If my math is correct, that means that I can drive this bicycle back to our old farm with one single charge. Now don't worry, y'all, I'm not gonna do that. And if I do, I'll make sure I have a helmet on. And it's perfect for me because you can see I'm 5'4", and it has the low bar that enables me to quickly get on and off with ease. It has this area on the back that I can put Gidget on, my little Pomeranian, and let her go along for rides with me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But one of the neat things that I didn't think I would use, but you know, there's times when we need to go check on chickens at night. I mean, check on the puppies, check on any animal on the farm, and it has this headlight. So I can turn that on and see where I'm going without having to hold my phone out here to shine in front of me to see where I'm actually going. Now, let's just say I'm going down the driveway and lo and behold, Nugget runs out in front of me. What am I going to do? Get out of the way, Sheriff. There's a Rusher coming through. So I guess y'all can tell how excited I am to have an electric bicycle here at Cog Hill Farm. It's just going to make life for me so much easier to get from point A to point B without having to use the side-by-side, which doesn't give me any exercise. I may even could get my mama on this thing. And if I do, I'm definitely going to show her on video. I hope that y'all enjoyed Tanya and I checking the hives, and of course we had good news, which is wonderful. So y'all are gonna have to come back with us when we harvest honey, and if she checks them before then, I'll bring you along too. So until then, Have a good day.